I'm talking to that athlete. I'm talking to that administrator. I'm talking to that nurse, that doctor. I'm talking to that student. I'm talking to that communicator. I'm talking to that pioneer, that inventor. I'm talking to that entrepreneur. I'm talking to that preacher. I'm talking to that person who refuses to stay where they are. I'm talking to that person that doesn't have a problem laying in obscurity, because you know that when you come out of the dark room, all eyes on you. We live in a culture of busyness, distraction, and noise. And sometimes the only way something's going to change is if we disappear. Sometimes you got to delete the app. Sometimes you have to walk away. Sometimes you have to fall back into the dark room and focus on you. Everybody wants destiny. Everybody wants manifestation. Everybody wants fulfillment. Everybody wants the next level in the relationship and a higher quality of living. But nobody wants to eliminate distractions. Nobody wants to disappear for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, and get it to a place where you can focus on just you. What if you could just shut out every distraction? What if you could just shut out the world for just a season and focus on you? A man is rewarded in public for what he does in private. Can you unplug for just a moment and focus on you? Focus on what matters. Why are you here? What is your destiny? The reason why you don't see it, the reason why it has not manifested, the reason why you are so frustrated is because you have not been willing to forsake all that you've been called to forsake and to follow through behind closed doors. Sure, you can talk about it. Sure, you can plan it. Sure, you can write it down. Sure, you can go to the conference and hear about it. You can read about it. But at some juncture, you have to disappear and put the work in and come back and shock everybody that doubted you. I'm talking to that man, that woman, that boy, that girl who feels the fire in their belly. It's time for you to shock the world. You may have to sleep in your car. You may have to go without food. You may have to bounce around from couch to couch. You may have to sacrifice like nobody in your family ever has. But can you do it behind the scenes when nobody's looking, when nobody's watching, when nobody understands the measure of passion that you carry? Can you keep going? Don't stop. You're right there. Go through the process in the dark room that prepares us and equips us for the stages of destiny. It's time to get real. It's time to get raw. It's time to look ourselves in the mirror and come to the resolve that this version of ourselves is not going to carry us in the stretch. That I've been this version of myself long enough that if I don't change, if I don't do something about this, then I'm going to find myself bankrupt. Some of the most monumental and transformational portraits and pictures that we've ever seen were developed in the dark room. We celebrate athletes and we celebrate critical thinkers and innovators and actors, and we praise them and claim them our heroes, and we follow them by the millions. We love what they do in public, but you don't know the story behind the glory. You don't know the blood, the sweat. You can see the tears that they cried, the prayers that they prayed, the countless weeks where they went without sleep to get where they are. One of the greatest tragedies in life is to live and not know why you're living. I'm just wondering if there's anybody here that wants their future, that wants to fulfill their destiny, that wants to manifest, that wants to walk in discipline and determination. I'm just wondering, is there anybody here that's willing to disappear? Are you willing to forsake all distractions? Can you hide yourself in the library? Can you hide yourself in the gym? Can you hide yourself in the boardroom and plan and caucus and do what's required behind the scenes in order to manifest the moment? Can you hide yourself in your behind the scenes. Stop telling the world what you are about to do. Steve Jobs once said, "We do not say anything about future products. We work on them in secret, and then we release them to the world." We only have so much real estate in our minds and our hearts. We only have so much bandwidth in our mental capacity. And the more distractions, the more delusions, the more negativity that we allow to take up real estate in our hearts and in our minds, the less energy we have to fulfill the call, to fulfill destiny, to manifest the idea. Everything that you think about, that you meditate on, everything that has to your attention has to be worth your time. So now it's time to navigate and do an appraisal of everything that's in our life, everything and everybody in our life. Time to do an appraisal and ask them this question: are you worth my time? If you're not, it's time to unplug. Time to unplug. Time to unplug. I'm just wondering if there's anybody that can hear my voice right now that has come to the end of themselves and they are willing to eliminate distractions. They are willing to delete social media apps if they have to. They are willing to walk away from everything that is distracted, everything that has diluted your devotion and your determination, every disease and dysfunction and disorder that has pulled you from destiny after you have heard it, after you have received it, after you have written it down, after you have spoken it once. Do what is required to manifest it into reality. If you can see it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. Stop telling everybody what you're going to do. Stop telling everybody what your next move is, and just disappear and do the work that is required. Don't be bitter. Don't be frustrated. Listen, just remain faithful behind the scenes. Promotion is coming. Stages and opportunities are being prepared right now as you sacrifice in secret, as you put the work in the dark room, as you do what is required to hold in your hand what you see in your head. When no one is there to affirm you, when nobody's there to validate you, when nobody is there to agree with you, you build in the dark and you announce it when it's finished.
LinkedIn. All right, family, let's get the word out. Grand Rising. Happy Monday. Hope everybody is having a blessed day. We're going to start the call up here in the next 2 minutes or so. 2 minutes. So spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. And we will get the word out to everybody as soon as possible. Spread the word. I'm very, very excited for this call. Looking forward to everybody, learning from what it is that we have going on today. And let's get it rocking, right? All right, guys. So 2 minutes, fam.
Person and everybody, if you try to be better prepared than everybody, you've got your best chance. Because if you don't do it and somebody else does, I have the saying, work like someone's trying to take it all away from you. Work like someone's spending 24 hours, working 24 hours to take it all away from you. And that's kind of the way I look at it.
What would you say is the number one reason why people fail?
Lack of brains, lack of effort.
Lack of brains, lack of effort.
Yeah, they don't do the work. They don't learn. When you walk in the room, when you start a business and you start to talk about somebody, you're never in a vacuum with no competition. Unless you're just extremely lucky. And if there's going to be competition, that means somebody else knows your business as well as you do when you get started. And if you walk into a competitive environment and they still know more about the business than you do, more about your customers, you're going to lose. But most people don't consider that. They don't do the work. They don't learn more about their industry. They don't know even about their business. And so you've got to put in the effort to know more about your industry than anybody else. And that's the brains part, and that's the effort part as well. Because look, if you're competing with me, you better know what you're doing. Otherwise, I'm going to kick your ass. and you're not going to outwork me. And so, the combination is usually what kills businesses early on more than anything.
You could, within a 5-10 minute interview, say this dude's not going to make it as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I mean, I can typically tell, right? I can tell, but by their passion. I can tell by their focus. I can tell by their preparation. There's a whole realm of things in any business. Here's the business you're in, and here's 1,000 things that influence whether or not you're going to be successful. Through my experience in businesses, I can put myself in his position and say, okay, here are 900 of the 1,000 things he has to be aware of, and then go through and ask. And by how many of those or her issues they've been able to address already, that kind of gives me a sense of how hard they're willing to work. And I can tell by the questions they ask me. So all I have to do is say, okay, what do you want to know? And when they start saying, what should I do?
They ask you.
Yeah, and that's fine, right? And I want them to ask questions, but people like to say, the only stupid questions are the ones you don't ask, and that's not right? Because the questions you ask tell whoever more about you than anything else you do. Because in particular, it tells me about your preparation. If you ask me questions about just basic things that you should have known and you should have down to science, that's going to disqualify you almost more than anything. If you're not always learning, to this minute, if I'm not continuously learning, if I'm not just absorbing as much as I can absorb, someone else is going to kick my...
All right, familia, grand rising. Hope everybody is having an amazing start to their week. I know I am, and I hope everybody else is. If everybody had a great weekend, put a 7 in the chat box. If you had a really good weekend, you're feeling blessed, you're feeling excited, you're feeling ready to go for this week. You just feel like a different kind of energy, surrounding you for this week. It just kind of feels like this is the week for the breakthrough. This is going to be the week where, you make that big decision. This is going to be the week where amazing things happen for you. And I'm just very excited for, what it is that's coming for us this week. I'm super blessed, super grateful. Today is my last day at home. I actually fly back to Miami later on. I have my flight at 2:00. So I'll be getting to Miami later on afternoon. Super excited. So probably right after this flight, I got to start heading towards the airport. I'm getting ready for that. But I just want to let you guys know that this trip did it for me, to be honest. Coming back home, spending time with family, spending time with friends, just everything about this whole entire weekend was game changing for me. And I feel like a completely different person. I feel locked in. It was just something that was activated within me that I really needed to reactivate inside of me. It was something that was missing. There was that, I don't know, it was just something that was missing, and I got it. And I feel so blessed, so grateful to be able to share with you guys how I've been feeling lately, the memories, the just everything that's about to happen. And I wanted to share this with you guys because I know this was something that changed my life. And I wanted to share with you guys as well today. And that's why I called this call and this specific topic, Silence is Precious. And I'm going to get into what silence is and, exactly what I mean by the topic for today. But before we do so, all right, let's express one thing that we're grateful for. Let's spread gratitude. We woke up another day. We have access to another week for us to work on ourselves. And God woke us up this morning because he is not done working on us. So let's express gratitude. I also went to church yesterday, which I'm actually extremely grateful for. I'm grateful for God. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my mom, my dad, my little brother, my goddaughter, Dadiana. I'm extremely grateful for the whole Mornings with Nano community. I'm grateful for Katie. I'm grateful for my sis Melissa. I see you in here. She's in here with me today. Val, I see you in there as well. Christina, I see you in there as well. Okay, I see a few of the girls on the squad running it up in here. Extremely grateful for my boy Crafty. I see you in there. Eunice, see you in there as well. Carlos, Maisha, man, I see a lot of familiar faces in here. Johnny D, Was goody, was goody. So just extremely grateful for the whole team, the leaders within the organization. Grateful for, just the experiences I had this weekend. Extremely grateful for the brunch I had yesterday. I had a really, really good brunch yesterday with the family. It was awesome. Just to be able to sit down and enjoy a nice brunch with the team. It was game changing for me. I'm extremely grateful for just so much that's going on in my life right now. The realizations that I had this week. Yes, the brunch was fire. But the realizations that I had over the last few days were incredible. Also, it was so funny. I was actually going to show you guys something, but yesterday I was finally picked as the best man for my little brother's wedding. He came up to me. Let me tell you guys this story. Yo, Chelly, can you bring me the bottle real quick? It's right there in the thing. So yesterday we're hanging out, and my little brother, is this it? No, this is the groomsman. But
which one you looking for?
Mine, but it don't matter. But yesterday I'm in the park. We're hanging out in the park, and my little brother brings me a bottle of Casamigos, right? And he gives it to me, and I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. Like, I'm not trying to drink today, my guy. So I'm good. Is that it? Yeah, this is it. Right. So, funny story. My little brother's, he's getting married. So he brings me this bottle and he passes it to me. He's like, here, bro, this is for you. And I look at it and I'm like, nah, bro, like, I'm not trying to drink today. Like, I'm good, bro. Like, and I give it back to him, like, no, bro, like, read the bottle. And then I read the bottle and then look at what it says. It says, drink up, suit up, because your service of a best man is required. Thanks, the future married guy, but forever you, bro. So yesterday I got I got invited to be the best man for my little brother's wedding, which was super dope. It was super dope the way he did it. And it was so funny because he was giving it to me and I'm like, nah, bro. Like, I didn't even read it because I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna drink here. Like, it is what it is, bro, But then I actually read it and he invited me to become his best man, and it was beautiful to see it. And then there was 3 of the groomsmen there as well. There's 2 more missing. But just super dope experience. My little brother, he's the man. He's gonna be getting married next year, and I told him, I'm like, bro, I'm so proud of you because I'm like, man, I haven't even thought about marriage yet, and you're already doing this, and like, you're gonna be an example for me. I'm gonna watch you go through the process, so maybe I won't be as nervous when my time comes. So it was just a really, really dope experience to have. Like I'm telling you guys, like, just all the way around, the whole experience for me while I was home just was just such a beautiful experience, all the way from just this being invited as the best man, and the conversations I had with my mom, my dad, and everybody. It's super dope, but it's amazing to see that he's in that phase in his life, and I know that one day I'll reach that phase as well. But it's just amazing, so I'm excited. I'm excited. He makes me nervous a little bit, right? But I'm excited. So let's get into today's topic. Dale, love you, fam. I'll see you during the week. Dale. So let's talk about what we came to talk about here today. We came to talk about today, silence is precious. Okay, silence is precious. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this is because, I had somebody tell me that you are greater on your own, right? You are greater when you take the time to focus on yourself, when you take the time to really, tap in with who you really are. And when they told me that, it put a lot of things into perspective for me, because I said, wow, I remember when I was living back in New York City and the sacrifices I had to make in order for me to really get out of the situation that I was currently in. And the reason why I say that to you guys is because we live in a world of distractions. Okay. And in a world of distractions, it's very hard for you to, accomplish the things that you're striving out for, the goals, the aspirations, the manifestations, all of these things that we want, they're almost impossible to manifest unless you're able to, silence all of the distractions, unless you're able to really put yourself in a position where you can really, see it for bigger than what it is, right? And for a long time, that was my biggest challenge. My biggest challenge was always, yes, I wanted that house. Yes, I wanted to put my family in position. Yes, I wanted to, get my mom out of this apartment. But as you guys realize, it's not as easy as it seems. And after living away from my house for a year and coming back, it's a very humbling experience for me, because for me, it's one of those things that is like, we got to make this happen. And sometimes you get caught up in so many distractions and just so many things that happen in life that you almost tend not to forget, but you almost kind of go off course for a little bit. And the thing is that we don't have that luxury to go off course. We don't have that luxury to be lost in our distractions. And the best way to get rid of those distractions, right, is you gotta silence all distractions. You gotta silence them. You gotta silence them. And what I mean by that is that if some of you guys really, really want to make a massive change in your lives this year, you're going to have to do something that you've never done in order for you to get something that you've never had. Now, Nano, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by do something you've never done? I'm not just talking about going out and prospecting. I'm not just talking about grabbing a book and reading it. I'm not just talking about developing a morning routine. What some of us may have to do in order for us to get to where we want to go to this year, and this might be one of the biggest sacrifices some of you guys may make, and I'm just telling you guys because this is what I had to do. Some of us may have to disappear, and that's the truth. If you want to get to where you want to go to this year, you might have to disappear. For real. And I don't say that to scare you guys in any way. I don't say that to make you guys think that, this is a crazy journey or anything. But you might have to disappear for a little bit. And I don't mean I'm not saying fly to another country and completely call everybody off. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this. What I mean by disappear is, okay, and it might be, and look, you might need to disappear for a month, for 3 months, for 6 months. But what you may need to do is you might need to sacrifice a lot for what it is that you want. You're going to have to make a lot of sacrifices in order for you to get to where you want to go to. Because look, guys, let me explain something to you guys about the silence, right? You got to remember this, and I want you guys to remember this very closely. You are rewarded in public for what you do in private. You are rewarded in public for what you do in private. And what you do in the silence, what you do in the darkness, what you do when nobody is watching is what's going to make the biggest difference that you need to change your life. That's what some of us need. The thing is that a lot of us, we have the resources, we have the businesses, we have everything, but we still haven't made that sacrifice yet. We still haven't disappeared. And what do I mean by disappear? Disappear means you might have to cut off some friends for some time. You might have to spend time away from family for some time, right? You might have to do things that you don't want to do in order for you to get the things that you never had in your life before. I'm serious. This is the season that is required right now. You can't afford distractions anymore at this point. You can't afford going out with friends and blowing money in the club. You can't afford staying out late doing nothing that's required from you right now. You can't afford hanging around negative friends right now. You can't afford being in a relationship that is filled with arguments and struggles and ups and downs, and there's never no simple community. You can't afford that right now. Right now, what you need to be on is on pure growth and elevation. And remember, elevation requires separation. Elevation requires separation. So, some of us on this call, we have what it takes. We have the desire, we have the growth, we have the skill sets, we have all the things. But the thing is that we don't have, you know what we don't have? We don't have the silence yet. We don't have the silence yet. We have everything else. We have the business, we have the product, we have the family support, we have some money. But you know what you don't have? You don't have the silence that you need. And look at the name of our call today. Silence is precious. And what you need to do is, the reason why you need that silence is because you need to get to know who you really are. Because the only way that your life is going to change is if you change. We live in a life where we're always so worried about this person, that person, what's going on in the world. We are distracted by everything. We are so distracted that we haven't even started to build that relationship with God. We've forgotten about our higher power because of how many distractions we have in our life. We have financial distractions, we have mental distractions, we have economic distractions, we have, you name it, there's all kind of distractions, social media distractions, relationship distractions, we have them all. And the thing is that there's so much going on that we haven't been able to silence everything and actually focus on what's important. Because like I always said, guys, remember, we teach this daily. And I've said this on Mornings with Nano maybe 1,000 times. Sacrifice for what you want, or what you want becomes a sacrifice. And for some of us on this call, this might not be that season for you. And I get that, because not everybody is ready for the silence. But there are some people on this call that needed to hear this message right here. There's very specific people on this call that needed to hear that they need to go into silence in order for them to get to where they want. You need to disappear and sacrifice everything. You need to literally disappear and sacrifice everything. You need to be in a different kind of vibration. You need to there and cut off the friends, the family, the people that aren't benefiting you and aren't helping you in any kind of way. You got to disappear. And just, even social media needs to get a cleanse from you. Your friends need a cleanse. You need to go out and just be on your own. You need to be on your own for a little bit. Because one of the biggest tragedies that a human being goes through in life is living his life without purpose, living his life without knowing exactly what that individual wants. And in silence is where you find that. In silence is where you find that purpose. In silence is where you find out who you truly are. I found who I truly was when I went to the park every morning by myself and I tapped in with myself. Brandel asks a phenomenal question in the chat box. He says, how would you know you need that? It's a great question. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you how would you know if you need that. If you've been working on your business and you've been doing what's required of you. You've been reading books, you've been listening to audios, you've been just going about your life, the way you're going about it. But for some reason, nothing has changed. For some reason, even though you're still putting the work in, not much has changed. Even though you're showing up to the calls, not much has changed. Even though you're reading the books and writing your goals down, not much changed. Anybody feel where I'm coming from with this? You ever been in those positions where you're doing what's required, but for some reason, things don't change? Like you're still stuck in the same financial situation. You're still living in the same house. You still have the same friends. You still have the same situation showing up, right? That's when you know you need the silence. That's when you know you need to disappear. And I don't mean disappear from your team, because your team is a part of it. Like if Neno disappears, you guys will know from me. My team will know from me. It's just certain things that I got to do on a day-to-day basis, and certain people and certain places and certain environments that I'm not going to be able to go into anymore. There's certain people that won't get that phone call from me anymore. There's certain places I won't go anymore. There's certain foods I won't eat anymore. There's so many things that are just going to change. I won't spend as much time on social media anymore. There's going to be more time spent talking to God, more time spent working on myself, studying those books, listening to those audios. Meditation for 10 minutes is going to turn to meditation for 30 to 45 minutes out of the day. What was once a 15 to 20 minute reading session now turns into an hour reading session. What was once a 20-minute journal session is now a 1 hour journal session. Because you know what? Now you're spending more time with yourself, because you know that this is the time that really matters right now. This is where things start to change. You spending more time in prayer. Sundays are mandatory church for you. Not just optional church, mandatory church for you. Not like, I'll go when I can, or I'm tired, I'm exhausted. No. It's mandatory for some of us. And for some who don't need to go, I get it. But it's getting right with yourself. It's making sure that you're in that gym every day, or at least 3 to 4 times a week, working on your physical body, working on the interior empires that we talked about last week. We talked about your mindset, your heart set, your soul set. I'm missing one, which is mindset, heart set, soul set. Somebody help me out here. And health set. There it is. And health set, which is the one with the physical body, which is the one I'm talking about right now. So it's mindset, number 1. Heart set, your heart, your emotions are number 2. Soul set is your spiritual. And then health set is your physical body and what you eat. You might need to disappear for some time. Disappear for a month. Guys, if I was you, for those who can, what I recommend is look up Airbnbs for a month in another country, in another city. Do it. Look it up. They won't be there's Airbnbs that you could get in other cities and other countries for under $1,500. 1 bedroom. 1 bedroom that's it. Make that sacrifice. Start saving up for it from now. Maybe you might not have the money right now, but maybe you could get it July. Maybe you could get it August. Find an Airbnb. Find somewhere where you can go and just lock in on your own. No friends, no family, nobody. Just you, yourself, and God. Where you could lock in and work on those 4 interior empires. Where every day you wake up, you work on your mindset. Every day you wake up, you working on your health set. You're working on your soul set. You're working on your health set. And I'm telling you, some of us, that's what we need. And I know a lot of you guys are probably like, Nano, but I got a job, bro. I got kids. How do I do that? For you guys, it's going to be a little bit different. See, for the ones that have jobs, for the ones that have kids, you might have to do things you've never done. Your kids wake up at 7 a.m. You have to be at your job by 7 a.m. This is where now you might need to be up 4 a.m., 5 a.m., taking advantage of that silence. Early bird before everybody else. That's what's going to have to be, because guess what? You have to make the sacrifice, because these were the cards you were dealt. You might need to find that time to be up before everybody else. You know your kids wake up at 7 a.m. You know that for a fact. You know that your kids are up at 7 a.m. Get up at 5 and dedicate those 2 hours of silence to you. Your kids are in bed by 11 p.m. You might have to stay up that extra 2 hours to work in silence. Luckily for me, I don't have kids and I don't have a job. I work from my laptop. I work from my home and my phone. So if I want to, I could leave tomorrow to the Dominican Republic and elevate myself and jump on a few calls a day and just be in pure bliss and silence on my own. I've been best when I was by myself. I've been at my best when I was locked in dolo here at my house. Because what I would do, I remember that. I remember it like it was yesterday. Every day I would wake up. My mom was always out here when I woke up, because I would wake up around 5:55 in the morning. And I would come out here. My mom was drinking some coffee always. She was getting ready for work. And I would walk out the room and I would walk out the house around like 6:15. I was out of the house. Okay. And I would always drink a little bit of coffee with my mom. Right. I would always, drink a little coffee with my mom really quick. And I would head out the door. And from 6:15, 6:30-ish, right, till 8:30, 9 a.m., I would be on my own. Solito, nobody, just me. And then when I came back, nobody was here at home. Everybody was working, because my parents work from, my mom works from like 8 to 4. So that whole time at home, I was here by myself. It was so crazy. My parents would get home around 4:30, 5 o'clock. And the only time I would spend with them was from 5 to 6 o'clock, which was the time that we would eat dinner. Right? From 5 to 6 was the only time that I would come out here and be with my parents. And then from 6 till the time for bed, I would lock myself in my room and get back to my silence. And I did that, guys, for close to a year. Close to a year. Complete solitude. Like, I wasn't going outside and hanging out with my friends. My friends got to the point that they stopped calling me. They thought that they did something to me that I wasn't talking to them. That's how bad it got. They thought, yo, Nano don't want to be our friend anymore. We call him, he doesn't come outside anymore. I had cut a lot of people off. I'm telling you, it was one of those things that was needed for my elevation. And some of us on this call will understand. Some won't. Some will be like, bro, Nano, I don't think I could do that. And that's okay, because it's not meant for everybody. It's not meant for everybody. It takes a different kind of individual to do it in silence. It takes a different kind of individual to accept the darkness for some time. Because right now, in your opinion, for some people, you're in the light. You're in the light right now. You're like, man, it's light. I can see everything. It takes a different type of person to be like, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice the light and go into darkness. It takes a very specific kind of individual to do those kind of things right there that I'm telling you guys right now. To really, really make it. And like I said, it's a season. For some of you guys, that season may be this summer. For some of you guys, it may happen at the end of the year. It might happen next year. But what I will tell you is this, though. There's going to come a time and place where you're going to have to do it. Because there's not one successful person. There's not one. There's not one successful person that didn't create themselves in the darkness. Go look at all the successful people in the world. Go look at your favorite celebrities, your favorite athletes, the top athletes in the world. They were created in the darkness, family. They were created in the darkness. They were created when nobody was watching. Because remember this, guys, write this down. The darkness helps you find your passion. The darkness helps you find your passion. That's like when Jesus went to the mountains for 40 days. Guys, there's stories about this in the Bible. You need the solitude, family. I'm telling you. Some of you never had it. Some of you don't know what solitude is because your life is so involved now with so many other people. Your whole life revolves around other people now. You go to work, you're around people. You wake up, you're around people. You know, you get home from work, you're around people. You have a business now, you're always around people. You always got to be talking to people. Some of you guys can't even remember the last time you dedicated a 2-hour session to yourself because of how much you've had to be around people. Me being one of them. I'm always around people. Always, at all times. I've been on tour for close to a month, if not a month already now. I've been around people the whole time. From the moment I wake up to the moment I fall asleep. So trust me when I tell you guys that the solitude is also going to be needed for me as well. And it's nothing personal. It's just something you got to prepare mentally for. For real. It's not like you could do it tomorrow or do it today. This is something that you have to mentally prepare yourself for. Seriously, this is something that you have to sit down and be like, okay, starting in June, starting mid-June, I'm going to go into solitude. Starting end of June, I'm going to go into solitude. You have to start preparing your mind for the darkness. Some of you guys need to start it today. Some of you guys need to start it a week from now. But what I will tell you guys is that God spoke through me and told me that there's people on this call that needed to hear this message today. There's people in here that need it. There's people in here that need this message. Me being one of them. Me being one of them. Because I'm telling you guys, this is what's going to help us get to where we want to go to. Some of us, our biggest problem is that we're not going to be willing to sacrifice the summer. When you're in solitude, do you post regularly? It's a great question, Lola. You post, but not as regular as you usually do. And if you do post, everything that you post is super intentional. You're not just posting to post. Everything you post has such a specific intention. I'm talking about down to the point where your captions are beautifully written. The stories you post are beautifully calculated. Everything is an intention. It has to be value. It has to be something that you're giving. Like when people read your caption, they be like, yo, Lola's in mode. Lola's on a different vibration right now. Johnny, he's moving different this summer. Like when people read your stuff, people need to feel it in their hearts that you are on a different vibration. Like people need to be able to read your posts and be like, yo, this guy is on a different vibration right now. If I could, if you look at my post and you just be like, oh, Neno, dope post, I didn't do my job. If you read one of my posts and you be like, damn, yo, Neno really talking. Neno's really on a different vibration right now, bro. He's different right now. You could feel the energy through the phone. It has to be like that. That your team, your family, everybody could just feel the energy through the phone. Like, yo, he's really not playing this summer. She's really not taking nothing for granted this summer. If you're gonna post, it should be like that. That anybody and everybody who sees you sees, yo, this is a brand new version of this person right here. But you need to go into silence. You need to disappear for some time. Some of us need to disappear for some time. And like I said, guys, remember, when I say disappear, I don't mean literally disappear. I mean that there needs to be times throughout the day that are dedicated to just you and yourself and God. That's it. That's it. There needs to be more time spent alone in solitude instead of more time spent with friends, families, and stuff like that. You need to look back at the end of the day and be like, did I spend more time alone today or did I spend more time with others today? If you're spending more time with others than you're spending alone, then you're not really disappearing. When you disappear is when you're spending majority of the time on your own. On your own. Okay? On your own. And less time with people who are distracting you, who are trying to steer you down the wrong path. You want to be with yourself and God. Really tapping in. Really getting to know who you are. really getting to find out what your passions are, really getting to understand up here this. You want to understand what's going on up here. You want to understand how to get rid of those fears. You want to talk to God and tell God, God, help me get rid of these insecurities that I have. Help me get rid of these doubts. Really getting right with your body. Taking real account of the weight you got to lose, the body you need to develop. Gaining that confidence back. Healing from all the past traumas and forgiveness that you got to have in order for you to get yourself to that tip-top vibration. Some of us need to isolate just to heal. Some of us need to isolate just to forgive. Some of us need to isolate just to build that closer connection with God because you've lost that over the last few months. And guess what? That's the reason why you haven't been able to elevate to where you want to elevate, is because you haven't taken that time to build that connection. You haven't taken that time. You haven't. But you need to. You need to take that time. Some of you, honestly, it's mandatory that you take that time if you even want to make it through the year. Because look, guys, if I'm being honest, it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse, fam. Look at the stuff that is happening in the world every day. It's going to be harder for you to stay focused moving forward. It's going to be harder for you to stay on course over the next coming months. It's going to be harder. It's going to be harder. And if you can't separate to elevate in the summer, it won't happen. You're going to have to sacrifice the whole entire summer. And if Nano has to sacrifice the whole summer, you best believe that the 600, 700 people who are watching this live and the thousands of people who are watching the recording of this, trust me, you need to do it too. Every single one of us needs to sacrifice this summer. None of us are where we want to be, including myself. As a matter of fact, the fact that I come home and my mom still lives in the same place that I grew up in, that's enough motivation for me to know that I got to still go harder, that there's still the job is not done. The job is not done. So if Nano has to sacrifice his whole summer, every single one of us on this call has to sacrifice the whole entire summer. And I'm telling you guys the facts. The whole summer. And guess what, guys? Look, some of you guys need to sacrifice. Listen to some of the things that some of us need to sacrifice, fam. Some of us may need to sacrifice the time we're spending on social media, friend time. Some of us are going to have to sacrifice the weed, smoking. Some of us are going to need to sacrifice family time with people who don't care about you. You're going to have to sacrifice so much. Sacrifice spending money, the food that you're eating. You're going to have to sacrifice a lot if you really want to get to know who you really are. And remember, you're sacrificing for you to get yourself right. You might sacrifice those 3 months and still be in the same place, low key. But this is where it gets good. You becoming a better version of yourself, you developing yourself into the person that you need to be is exactly what is going to be needed in order for you to develop that lifestyle, that just whatever it is that you want is going to require that sacrifice. I didn't get what I asked for right away. I spent a lot of time in darkness. A lot of time. In reality, I'm really greater on my own, because that's when I strive the most. I'm my own accountability partner. I gotta hold myself accountable. I don't gotta count on anybody. And to be honest, a lot of us, we are all greater on our own. If you don't know how to be on your own, you can't be with others. Because if you can't be at peace with yourself, you can't be at peace with others. If you don't learn how to love yourself, you can't love others. If you don't learn how to forgive yourself, you can't be forgiving others. If you don't learn how to believe in yourself, you can't believe in others. You can't believe in your vision. If you don't learn how to build a closer relationship with God, who's going to guide you? That's why so many people are lost. They don't have a relationship. They don't have a connection. They don't have no higher power guiding them. They're just waking up every day and they're going about their day. And that's it. I love that, Daniela. This summer is for the soul. This summer is for your soul, fam. Because I'm telling you, the way the world is headed, the things that are happening in front of our eyes every single day, you're going to have to be very strong up here to make it through the next few years. I'm telling you, bro. My mom even told me in Spanish. She told me in Spanish. She said to me the other day, she was like, she said, la gente no quiere creer en Dios. Y ahora Dios, con todo lo que está pasando, he's making them see. She said in Spanish, she said, people don't want to believe in God. People don't want to get connected to God. And people are now every day seeing the results of not having belief in their higher power through everything that's happening. She told me that, and it made so much sense to me. She said, la gente no quiere creer en Dios, and this is the reason why all of this is happening. This is a punishment. You don't want to believe? Here it is. They don't want to believe. They don't want to grow that connection. They don't want to do that stuff. And this is what it is. And when she told me that hit me like a ton of bricks. So I'm like, you're right, Mom. You are absolutely right. People are not connected right now. People are truly lost. And the reason why we got to be the ones that change the narrative for all of us listening right now. Oh, look, the 700 of us who are live right now listening to this, and the thousands who are going to be watching the recording. It's up to us to make the change in the world. It's up to us. The fate of the world is in our hands. That's how real it is. The fate of our generation is in our hands right here. It's up to us. It's up to us. I truly believe that in my heart. Type a 7 in the chat box if you truly believe in your heart that the fate of the world, the fate of our generation is in our hands. It's up to us. It's up to the... Who else is up at 10 a.m. on a Monday morning talking about the things that we're talking about? Nobody. Are there other motivational calls going on? Absolutely. But there's not ones talking about this right here. They're not talking about this. They're not talking about what's required from us right here. And sometimes this is what it's going to take, family. If I were you, this is May 23rd. Some of you have, the summer starts what, June 20th, June 21st? Some of you guys have a month. Some of you guys have a month to prepare. Some of you guys can start June 1st on my birthday. Some of you guys can start tomorrow. But remember, you were created in the darkness. When you were in your mother's womb, you were in the darkness the whole time. You spent 9 months in darkness before you were ever brought to the light. Some of you may need to go back to that womb. And not literal, but you're going to have to go spend time in darkness on your own by yourself to get yourself where you got to go. So, to be honest, some of you guys, that's all you need. This is the only thing you've been missing. This is the answer you've been looking for. This is me answering, not me. This is God answering your prayers through me right here on this call right now. This is it. Because there's just too much happening in life right now. Too many distractions. Too many. Look at where we at. We live in the hood, fam. Until we don't truly isolate, won't happen. It's not gonna happen, guys. It's gonna have to take, for some, it might take a month of isolation. For some, it's gonna take 3 months of isolation. There's people in here that might have to literally dedicate the rest of the year to isolation, so you can get yourself right for 2023. For me, it might have to be this summer. The whole summer. And like Shelby said, and that's okay. And some will understand and some won't. And some will support me and some will be like, you're bugging. But it's not for me to get people to understand me. It's not what I'm here for. I know what I got to do. I spoke the message to me already. And I'm convinced already. There's nothing anybody could tell me. There's nothing that anybody could try to convince me of. I'm already convinced. It's just a matter of when I started. And what perfect time than this summer. That's the last event I have that I got to do is June 20th through the 23rd, which is NFT New York City. I'll start preparing myself for isolation from now. I'll start getting ready. I'll start preparing my mindset. I'll start, just working on little things here and there. But I don't think my isolation will start just now because I got to move out soon. I have certain events I have to go to. I have certain commitments I got to make. But come June, after my 3-year anniversary, Mornings with Nano, come end of June, there's going to be a different version of me. Because it's going to be complete isolation. And I just want you guys to know that. I'm still jumping on Mornings with Nano, but just remember this energy and just, you're going to see the difference in my energy a month from now, 2 months from now. I need to tap into who I really am. And I'm tapped in but I need to tap in even more. I've made sacrifices before, but I got to make more sacrifices. I've been in the dark before, but I got to go back to the dark again. It takes time. And the darkness is what has gotten me up to this very moment, to where I'm at today. I've made multiple six figures. I've traveled the world to 10 different countries. I have my own podcast. I've done philanthropy. I'm a successful crypto investor, NFT holder. You name it, I've done it. I spoke on stages all around the world. All of that happened as a result of the darkness and the time that I spent in darkness. I was celebrated in public for the things that I did in private. Well, guess what? In order for me to get rewarded for the 7 figures that I want, in order for me to get rewarded for the house that I want to buy my mom and dad, in order for me to get rewarded with the team and the organization and all the things that I want moving forward, I need to go back there. I need to go back there. How about if you have a team? Your team is always in communication with you. You never cut when you go into isolation, you don't fully cut everybody off. There's certain people that always keep that connection with you, but it's very minimal people. Your team has to be one of those people, especially if you're in a network marketing business, because your team needs to feel the energy and see that you're making that shift. The only people you cut off in isolation is people who don't serve you and who don't have the best intentions for you. After that, you're solid. But guys, that was the message that God told me to speak to you guys this morning. This is what it takes. You're going to have to cry on your own. You have to get frustrated on your own. You're going to have to deal with those disappointments on your own. And that's the facts. And I've been there before, bro. I know what it's do. When I was by myself, there were times that I cried by myself. Things that people nobody knows. Things that I've never told people. Of frustration. Like, man, am I ever gonna get this? Am I ever gonna be able to do this for my mom and for my dad? Like, and bro, it was hard, and it's been hard, and it's been difficult, and it's been challenging. And I've already gone through my first, I would say 1 or 2 isolations. Some of you guys never done those. Some of you've never done an isolation period. Daniela said, could you read us a page of your journal? Can you grab that? Let me see. Nah. This is a more recent journal. This is actually my journal from now. Let me make sure I put this here so I could take it. Let me see if I could find you something from those times. This was summer of 2020. Nah, this is not it. Summer of 2019. Summer of 2019 was when I did it. Let me see if I could find you a nice little page really quick to read for you. This is it right here. The OG journal. Okay, this is it right here. Summer of 2019. So dope, man. I'm so glad I get this is the good thing also about having a journal. And the good thing is when you go into isolation, you really want to have a journal with you because you want to be able to write in it every day. You want to be able to write in that journal every day, especially when you're in it. It's so funny. Look, June 24th, 2019, said Mornings with Nano was a success. I had 80 plus people on the call today. The goal is 100 plus by the end of the week. That was 3 years ago. I was celebrating having 80 people on the call, and right now we have like 600 plus and thousands watching. I wish I had time to read to you guys this right here, but it is too much. My first ever aha moment. 21 pages. 21 pages on July 6th. I wrote 21 pages of my first ever breakthrough moment in my mind. But let me read something to you guys about the aha moment. I'm not going to be able to read everything, but look at this. I'll read this and then we'll wrap it up. I should dedicate a whole journal. I should dedicate a whole call to this. I should have actually did that at least once. So, first ever aha moment, right? First, I want to say that I'm extremely thankful for this moment right now. I've been asking the right questions every day, and I just received them. They flowed in like a river. Everything started this morning when I woke up at 6:25 a.m. for my morning's mentorship call with Sean Murphy. I had decided the day before to do an exercise the next day with Bob. We were the first two on the call. What a coincidence. Fast forward to the call, I'm doing an exercise with Bob, and he's helping me go back in times when I had breakthroughs. And I thought about a high school baseball days when I had 14 strikeouts on my 14th birthday. Also, the time when I decided to tell the teachers that we should start a baseball team. We did, and it felt awesome. We talked about the feelings of that moment and how it would feel if I have one now. I felt awesome, but I still had not had the breakthrough. Call ended, and I went about my day. So, just to give you guys an idea, because this journal is going to stay here, and we might stay here for another 10 minutes just so I could break this down to you guys, right? This is my first ever breakthrough moment. 3 years ago, I would jump on Sean Murphy's calls. And it's so funny because over the week, Sean called me and he told me something that stuck with me. He said, Nano, I love you, brother. I appreciate you, but I need you to start thanking yourself and giving credit to yourself for all that you've done. He said, I know that you're humble and you like to give all the credit away, but I need you to start giving yourself credit and giving yourself thanks for what you've done and how much you've accomplished thus far. Don't forget to fill up your cup. Don't forget to appreciate yourself. Okay. And Sean is always the way he thinks is very key. And I told him, Sean, when you get back, I need to have a conversation with you because I want to share the thoughts that I've been having with him. But in that specific day, I jumped on the call. Now, me, I'm always one of the first people on calls, especially with calls with Sean. And that day, it was me and this guy. His name was Rob. Older guys too. These are individuals in their 50s and 60s, like people with real wisdom. People that were in rooms with Jim Rohn when Jim Rohn was in his days. People that have shook hands and built businesses with Jim Rohn. These are the people I'm on calls with. And he puts me to do this exercise where I have to think about moments that I've lived in the past where, let me see. He said he wanted me to, go back in time and look for days or moments in the past where I had massive breakthroughs or I accomplished something big or something that I could remember off the top. And in that specific moment, I remembered, one of the biggest moments of my life was when I was 14 years old. I threw one of the biggest games. Like as a pitcher, I had one of the biggest games. I was turning 14 years old and I had 14 strikeouts. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. But then I also remember the day when, I convinced my middle school to start a baseball team and we started one and it was awesome. And it had been a while since I had a moment of that magnitude, right? Because I had came into this business, I was new to it. But I was able, look at what he said. He said, we had to talk about the feelings of that moment. This is how he was able to get me to have a breakthrough. He had me go back in time to think about breakthroughs that I've had in the past, feel them again, think about them again, revitalize them again and everything. And he said, hold that feeling. So I got off the call. It's cool. So this is it continues, right? So today was a chill day. I made some phone calls. I relaxed. I watched some Sports Center. I went to Laguna Beach around 5 p.m. that day. Good drive, listening to Jim Rohn. So ironic, right? I go to the beach and I took some pictures. I did a video for IG. I climbed on some rocks. And then I meditated for about 10 minutes. And I remember the sound of the waves. They would start loud and then they would fade off as the waves splashed against the sand. So look at how detailed that was. So they would start loud because they would splash, boof, and then they'll go shh. So it was a loud to silent noise. And I remember the waves of how beautiful it sounded. And I said, I can still hear it so clear. The law of pure potentiality is what that called. Meditating in nature so you can connect with the universe and its abundance. This will help you tap into your infinite creativity. So the meditation was a success. After that, I read the book, The Four Agreements. The chapter was titled, Don't Make Assumptions. That went great, and I shared what I had learned. The law of giving. In order to receive, you must focus on giving. Okay, so I gave. And then now to the aha moment. So I'm driving back from Laguna Beach, and I had one of my teammates message me how he was having a lot of success within the organization and and how he was lacking recognition. He was like, bro, I've been doing a lot for the team, but it feels like the team isn't recognizing me. And I start to think, and that phone call sparked an idea. And when you guys have a breakthrough, you guys will understand what I'm talking about. It almost feels like there was a door in your mind that was closed and it opens now. And all the answers were inside of that door. And it felt like all the answers that I needed were given to me right there and then. Like everything I needed to go to the next level was given to me at that very moment. That's why I said at the beginning of the breakthrough moment, look at what I said. I said, first, I want to say that I'm extremely grateful for this moment right now. I've been asking the right questions every day, and I just received them, and they flowed in like a river. And that's what it literally felt like. They were flowing in back to back. A bunch of questions. That's why they say ask the right questions. I was asking questions about how to build the right system. I was asking questions about what I needed to do to become a better version of myself and all of these things. And it was like all the answers were just answered in that very moment. And it started to give me everything. And I went from, it told me create a signals chat with the best traders, kick out all the negative and non-believers out the group chat, start a new one, bring all your teams together, build relationships with your organization, change your whole system, create a book club, start to recognize people for their efforts. People love recognition. Be more active with your people. Stop procrastinating. What else did I put? I put so much more, but Signal Chat, ACE program, mornings mentorship with Sean, events with Manny, all of this stuff. Now, I wrote all this stuff down. I wrote a $200 club because we were going to an event. So my goal was to get 200 people to the event. Vegan, to eat better, 80% diet, morning routine is key. So during that breakthrough, all the answers came in as to everything I needed to do, right? Everything came in. Boom, 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 boom. Mind you, by this time, I had already been spending, I would say at least, I had already 2 months in solitude. I had 2 months in solitude by this time. Now, there's a point here that he told me this, right? And when I called Sean, I told him, Sean, I'm having my first breakthrough moment. I called him when I was in the car. I called him. I'm like, yo, Sean, I'm having my first breakthrough moment, bro. I don't know what to do. He said, where are you? I said, I'm in the car. He was like, do you have your journal with you? I said, no, I don't have it. He said, the moment you get home, sit down, grab a pen, grab a paper, and write down everything that you're feeling. Everything that's going on in your mind, put it on paper right now. He said, not only do I want you to do that, he said, I want you to ask yourself this question. He said, I want you to ask yourself, what did you have to give up to receive that breakthrough? And I did that exactly. I wrote it down. I said, what did I have to give up that let this happen? Number one, I left my environment in New York City. Okay, I went from being in New York and I went to California. I gave up sleep because I was getting up every morning at 4:30 a.m. because Sean's calls are at 7:30 Eastern. Okay, so I had to get up at 4:30 Eastern. I had to give up family and friend time. I had to give up money. I had to give up time, and I had to give up my comfort zone. 1, 2, 3. Look at the 6 things I had to give up. I had to give up my environment. I had to give up sleep. I had to give up family and friend time. I had to give up money. Money, what I mean by money, money back invested into me. I had to give up time spent on things that weren't benefiting me, and I had to give up my comfort zone. I said, I compounded my calls, waking up early for Sean Murphy's call. All the meditation, the journaling, the reading, the personal development, the planning, everything pays. I needed to work on staying with it longer. I will stay in my routine. That's another answer. I compounded my routine. Don't stop doing it. This is a reminder that I should never stop doing my daily routine. It's also good to take some time to relax and do things that make me happy. I've been writing for the last hour and 20 minutes, and 17 pages later, I'm very grateful. So think about that. At this very point in my journey, I had been journaling for an hour and 20 minutes. 17 pages later. So I didn't even read to you guys 17 pages. I just skipped it to the point where I wrote down about what I gave up, right? There's so much more to this, right? I've been writing for the last hour and 20 minutes, and it's 17 pages later, and I'm very grateful to have my first aha moment. The energy that made this happen was the infinite abundance in the universe. How grateful I was to be there, the state of happiness I was in because I love being by the ocean, visualizing myself living there. The fact I was able to be in a state of giving played a huge part in the receiving process. Also, all the energy from the exercises this morning, the book I was reading, all the things I've been doing just added up and gave me the breakthrough moment. Tomorrow, I'm going to wake up and tell everyone about my breakthrough moment, have an awesome call with Sean. I will create a new chat. I will contact my team. And then I started to go into some stuff after that. And then at the end of it, when I look back, I wrote down 21 pages exactly. I stopped, and it wasn't intentional. It wasn't even intentional. It just randomly stopped at 21 pages. And if you guys know me, number 21 is my number. Always. Number 21 is my number. So when I look back and I started to count the pages, I'm like, what are the chances that I wrote exactly 21 pages? And bro, so much stuff happened that week. So much stuff happened that summer. I sacrificed that whole summer. And I went from making $2,000 a month to making over $12,000 a month. But I sacrificed my whole entire summer. My whole entire summer. And that was 3 years ago. I sacrificed my whole entire summer 3 years ago. The whole summer. It's looking like that summer again for me. I'm going to have to sacrifice this whole summer again. And I'm grateful and I'm excited for it. If you're ready to sacrifice this summer, if you're ready to sacrifice summer 2022, put a 22 in the chat box. Put a 22 in the chat box if you're ready to sacrifice 2022. Because you see, while everybody's getting ready to have a lit summer, while everybody's getting ready to go to barbecues, go to party, we're going to be ready to sacrifice the summer. And that's what it's going to take, to be honest. If you really, really want to quit that job, if you really, really want to get to where you want to go to in your business, if you really, really want to do these things, it's going to take a massive sacrifice. Don't rush to be on that stage. You'll be on that stage when you deserve it. Because like I said earlier, you will be rewarded in public for the things you do in private. Don't expect to be rewarded and recognized in public for the work you haven't done in private. Some of us need to put in a lot of work on our own in order for us to get to where we want to go to. All right, family. So with that being said, that wraps up today's call. I hope you guys got a lot of value from what it was that I covered here on today's call. Okay. I didn't have much notes today. It was just something that came to my heart and I had to speak it today. I had a few points that I wanted to cover, but mostly today I just wanted to talk to you guys from the heart. Just from the infinite source. I let God speak through me today. I prayed on it earlier and I said, God, just speak through me on this call. I don't need no notes. I don't need a training. I don't need nothing. I just need you to speak through me and let us hear what we all need to hear. Not just Nano, what we all needed to hear. And before the summer comes around, before the month of May ends, we all need to sacrifice this summer. And that's the time I'm on. And I'm going to do it. And I'm so serious about it. I had a really big breakthrough while being at home. And it was exactly what I needed. It was the reminder that I needed. It was seeing my mom. It was seeing my dad. It was everything about it, being with my little brother. It was everything about the experience that just it just activated something inside of me that I needed activated. It was that. It's that season. So you're going to see a different side of me moving forward. And I'm not going to apologize because it's that time for real. It's that time for real. Seeing my family, seeing my mom, seeing my dad, conversations we had, everything that they told me, you know, even my mom even telling me that stuff, you know, like I'm better. Bro, it's crazy. You have no idea. It was incredible. Going to church with my mom was unbelievable. So everybody needed to hear that. And I know that big things are coming for us. You guys will see me in this mode for some time now. This summer will be sacrificed. And there's going to be a lot that comes from this summer. I come back home in 2 weeks after I move out of my spot because I got to come back home for NFT New York. But after NFT New York, I'm out. I'm gone. and I'll be gone the whole summer. My mom probably won't see me all summer. My mom and dad will not be able to see me. I probably won't be back home probably till the end of the summer, probably till the fall. And that's a sacrifice. My mom and dad are gonna have to know about that. I'm gonna let them know that, like, mom, dad, after this week, I'm not coming back. You guys are probably not gonna see me till September. Of course, I'm gonna do the morning calls every day. They're not stopping. The mornings when they don't stay, they're gonna stay. Nothing changes. You guys elevate me. You guys help me. We're gonna go on this journey together. But we're gonna go on a heavy run. On a heavy, heavy run. I'm telling you. Yes, I am everything. Thank you. That's how true it is. That's how true it is right there. So let's get a prayer in, because if not, I'll stay here for another hour talking to you guys, and I don't want to keep you guys going no more. And I got to start getting ready to leave. So let's get a quick prayer in, and we go. I love that, Sunflower. It's not a sacrifice; it's an investment, and that's a fact. All right, quick prayer. Father God, thank you so much for waking us up on this beautiful Monday morning. We are so thankful to wake up and just be able to attack another great week that's going to be filled with breakthroughs. We are so thankful for the message that you spoke through me this morning, because we all needed to hear that. And I think it's time for us to go into solitude and spend time in silence, developing that connection with you. Because at the end of the day, that connection with you is what some of us are missing in our lives in order for us to get to go to. We need to find the purpose and why it is that we're doing everything that we're doing. We need to in this. And at the end of the day, that's what's missing in our lives, is that passion, is that determination each and every single day. And we know that we have it in us. We know that everybody that's listening to this call as we speak right now is here for a bigger purpose than just what they think they're here for. And some of us need to find that purpose. And we ask not for anything specifically, but we just ask for your guidance. We ask for your help during these times. And we ask for your strength and for your wisdom during this time of solitude, because we know that during this time is when we're going to grow the most. During this time is when we're going to build that connection with you, God. During this time is that we're going to be able to see the purpose that you have for us. And there's nothing better than us doing this and making this sacrifice, this investment that we're going to make. And we know that you've sacrificed a lot to be here. We've sacrificed a lot to get us to where we are today. So the same way you sacrifice is the same way we're going to do the same, gosh. So we thank you so much for always being there for us. We thank you so much for always speaking the exact word we need to hear in order for us to get ourselves right and put our minds in the position that we need to get to, because at the end of the day, there's no better leader and there's no better person in this whole entire world than you, my God. So thank you so much for the wisdom. Thank you so much for the guidance, for the protection, for our health. We continue to pray for those who need prayer, for my brother Jason Brown and his family, and everyone else who needs prayer during this time and healing. We're there for them. But let's go out there. Let's have a beautiful rest of the day. Let's have a great week, and let's get ready for this run of silence that we're going to get into. Father, we love you. We appreciate you. In your name we pray, and in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. 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 All right, guys. So that wraps up today's call. Wow, we're still 400, 500 plus on the call live. That's how you know the call was lit. Okay, that's how you know the call was lit. All right. How can I get a ticket to NFT New York? Look it up. Just go to nft.nyc, and you'll be able to get a ticket there. They're a little expensive now, but it's gonna be worth it for sure if you want to go and make that investment. I'll be there. But I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'll be flying back home today to Miami, and we'll be getting right to it, fam. So I love you. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow in Miami for another episode of Mornings with Nano. God bless, fam. Let's get it.